All right, hey guys, Jason with Fender Garage, and we have a couple pretty cool Broncos. So I want to take a look at this one first. 1979, pretty original. It's been painted one time. It's got some new stickers put on it. These Gen 2 Broncos are starting to become more and more popular. I've definitely seen them, spike in value. They're still a little bit easy to get right now, but they're going to start getting harder, like Gen 1s. Definitely a little more room, a little more space. Pretty sweet ride. The graphics they had back in the late 70s are pretty cool. Things were kind of crazy. We'll pop the hood here just to kind of give you an idea of what there we go. I just needed to know where the little love spot was. All right, now that I've worked up a sweat opening the hood up, we can check out the original drivetrain that's in here. Pretty much original. I mean, you had an AC system back then. You had some smog that was getting put on these. It's been around a while. It's not perfect by any means. It's not the most clean thing we've ever had here. Not the worst, but it's got some rust but pretty cool little ride. Let's come over here and check out the inside of it. So you got the plastic door panels. They could have been replaced recently. Looks like maybe they have been, and then when they painted it, they just painted on the door panel, but that happens. Inside is a little bit different color, which means this is probably the original color here, this green color. You had these seats here. Looks like they, cleaned up with new headliner. These are all original. This was kind of a base model. It didn't come with a radio or anything in this thing. It was pretty stripped down. It's also a manual, which it'd be a lot of work back then to drive. So obviously to get in the back, you got to fold these down, jump in the back. And you got just a very basic bench seat. Might have a couple lap belts if you're lucky. Four-wheel drive, obviously, and that's what it was about, a rig you could take out in the mountains and have a good time with it. This was kind of an early version where you could get electric. Everything has to be so hard these days. You could have electric windows that would actually lower that down. But it's old. Things are kind of falling off. I think there's only an F and an R and a D on the front. This is one that we're gonna be working on. We've got a new chassis ordered up for this one. This will all get stripped down and start over. But this is one we just finished up. This customer actually purchased it from an online auction house. We didn't paint it, we just kind of buffed it up. We had hoped it would have been a lot nicer when we started, but it had been sitting a while. When we drained the fluids in the front and rear differential, it was completely rusted in there. So new axles, new seals, rebuild front and rear diffs. And one thing led to another. Next thing you know, we've got Fox shocks on it. It had a lift on it. We lowered it back down to more stock height. He didn't want it to be a lifted vehicle, a little bit more stock looking. And so we just finished this one. And this one, we actually have a Gen 3 Mustang Coyote motor in here. It has a 10-speed automatic transmission mated to an Atlas transfer case, I believe. We've got our radiator kit in here, a few things. We've got our cover for the ECU. Super fun to drive. We actually started off with a Gen 3 truck motor and we gave up on it. It would run and drive and it was okay, but it had some weird things going on. So as we were trying to tune it with Lund Racing, we noticed a few things that were, it was cutting fuel a little bit in wide open throttle. It would get a little bit lean, and so having gone back through with Lund several times, just couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out either. Something coded in the ECU that just wouldn't allow them to adjust anything. So we ripped it out, we put in a Gen 3 Mustang motor, and here we are. So not a full restoration, but it's about 80%. Like I said, the body and paint came on it just like this, and we just put it back together. Powder coated the wheels. We had to buy a spare tire carrier because it didn't have one, so we found one on the East Coast. These are really hard to come by, so if you have those, hang on to them. And then we redid the complete interior. Now, we'll open this up and kind of show you what we did. So, new door panels. The inside's got a silver color, so we kind of tie that into this. The seats are Mustang seats, so they're power operated. You can see we cleaned up the headliner in the front and also on the fiberglass top, so hopefully we could keep it a little bit cleaner. A new console was made to store stuff in it. He's got a USB-C charge ports in it, a nice stereo system, and it's ready to crank. This guy, he's an off-roader, so he'll be taking it off-road a lot. He just wanted something cool that he could cruise every day, and so this is what he picked, and it's super rad. So differences between the two are drastic. This you just get in a drive. This one here, you get in a drive too, but it's not nearly as fun. This thing just goes and goes and goes. A couple of the details about this I can tell you. We got Restomod AC system, we got decoded digital gauges, we got the retro sound radio system, we got the original bench seat that we just reupholstered and cleaned that up with new foam, Mustang seats, console, all charge ports, cup holders, all those little amenities you want. We got our dome light in it. We actually installed, I don't know if you can see it through the glass, but we installed our dome light and put one in the very back right there, so he had additional lighting. We got tie downs in the back for him, some D-rings in the floor where he can strap stuff down if he needs to. Probably out shooting guns, you don't want those, you know, buzzing around. So the most part, we got some black square weave carpeting, which is kind of cool because it has kind of a little bit of a military look to it. Unfortunately, it shows dirt easier than you would like. People have a love for these things, and these are cool. Like if you have like a really original one, sometimes it's best to keep it that way. This one isn't as original as it's been painted. New stickers, but you know, we're gonna make this one cool as well. As you can see, you always gotta have these in here, right? Anyway, so pretty cool. We're gonna be starting this one, you know, here in a little while. And then this one here is finished up. We're actually gonna make a driving video and kind of show it off a little bit. We did just drop a new video with Cynthia Gauthier. She's really good at what she does. She also crashes a little bit. So, but she didn't crash this, obviously. She's building a truck with a Coyote motor in it. So it was a good opportunity for her to see what it was gonna be like when she gets hers done. So we'll be having a driving video come out where we let you see what it's like to drive these things and how fun it is. So stay tuned.